Hi, good day, everyone. And sir, my name is Samantha Marquez, and this is.
Jeremy Sookoo.
Today we will be presenting our game design. Our game is called Galactic Reload. It is a 2D side scrolling shooting platform game. This is our assignment 1, Needfinding and Usability for ITEC 229. Please note this is the initial design phase, and some factors are subject to change in future game development. We will have gameplay mechanics and controls, level and enemy design, user interface and experience, as well as sound and music integration explanation. First off, we would explain gameplay mechanics and controls, starting off by playing movement and shooting. Jeremy.
So players will be able to move their ship horizontally and vertically while shooting at enemies and dodging incoming fire. All of these controls will be managed through the keyboard using the WSD keys for movement and the mouse button 1 to shoot.
And we would have power ups and upgrades.
The power-ups will be dropped every time a certain amount of enemies are killed. The power-ups could grant a variety of abilities, from shields to invincibility to upgrading in damage to shooting more bullets. A variety of different power-ups could be dropped.
Next will be our boss battles and level progression.
So there'll only be 3 stages for this game. The first stage will be a tutorial stage. Second stage will be a representation of what a typical stage in throughout the game will be, and the final stage will be the final big boss battle end of the game. Throughout those 3 stages, the level of difficulty will increase as you go up, as you learn more maneuvers, and as you obtain more power ups.
Controls. We will have intuitive touch or mouse controls.
So this goes back to what I was talking about, the using the WSD keys to maneuver the ship and the mouse to fire.
As well as keyboard shortcuts for advanced maneuvers and customizable control settings.
So for the keyboard shortcuts, we'll have certain maneuvers that'll be linked to pressing certain keys at the same time to do incredibly complex maneuvers. Complex in the game sense, not complex to do. And the customizable control settings is just to say that you can change the controls to be your preference. If you don't want to use the WSD keys and want to set them all to the arrow keys, you can feel free to do so.
Level and enemy design. We would start off by discussing obstacle placement and patterns.
So throughout every level, we have placed obstacles that the player will have to maneuver over, under, or through, just to create a more engaging gameplay experience. It'll be a bit more challenging as well, but the patterns are completely permanent and not randomly generated, so the more you play a level, the more you'll learn it, and the easier it'll be to traverse.
There will be progressive difficulty through each level.
So, the enemies within the game will get increasingly more difficult as you progress through a stage, but it'll be capped off by the end of that stage. For example, the tutorial stage will have a very low level of difficulty by the end of it. But for the starting of the final stage 3, with the boss, it will start off at a very high level of difficulty because you would have had enough time to practice your maneuvers.
Next, we will have rewarding exploration by finding hidden power ups.
So, to encourage players to not just take one path and go through with that, and to actually explore the map and see the variety of power ups that we have hidden power ups throughout different, less obvious places within the level. so that when you go, you if you explore the area properly, you would be properly rewarded for that. The power ups that you'll find would be better than the typical ones that you'll get. They'll do more damage or they'll have longer duration times, essentially allow you to speed run through a level.
This is enemy design. We will have a diverse range of different types of enemies, such
So
as
so with the galactic setting, we'll be using aliens, robots, and we'll have of course the different enemy ships that'll be coming at you.
next boss battles.
So I spoke a little about the boss battles before, but each stage will have a mini boss within it, which would scale to the level of difficulty that the stage is at. We intend it to be a challenging experience for that difficulty level, and therefore to create a memorable gameplay experience.
Implementation of adaptive AI.
The adaptive AI is just to make sure that, well, we add a bit more challenge to the game. You can't just walk past enemies. Once you're within their field of view, they will trace you, they will attack you, and they will respond to the different ways that you move. If I move left to escape an enemy, it will move left and chase me.
Next, we will have user interface and experience by having intuitive design for easy navigation, clear feedback for user actions, and accessible controls for all players.
So this is really simple. The navigation design will just be a couple buttons that allows you to move on to the next stage after having completed, replay the stage that you've just done, or go back to the main menu and exit out of the game completely. As for the clear feedback for user actions, we want to reduce latency as much as possible so that if I click mouse button 1 to shoot, you immediately see the character shoot on screen. And as for the accessible controls for all players, this goes back to our customizable control options where you can set them to your preference.
Next, we have engaging user experience. There must be visual and audio, a dynamic gameplay to maintain interest, and personalized progression and rewards.
So the visuals and audio that we get come directly from the Unity asset store. So there will be a very high class of quality to it. So you could easily enjoy the experience. The dynamic gameplay is just in reference to our diverse enemy types, our variety of power ups, the obstacle placements, all of that comes together to maintain and engage users. And then the personalized progression is also to engage users. It rewards them for doing things that only they would think to do. For example, the exploration bit where you could find hidden power ups, you'll get an achievement every time you find a hidden power up.
Finally, we would have sound and music integration. Gameplay immersion will feature dynamic sound effects, audio feedback, immersive background music, and adaptive audio.
So, the dynamic sound effects is just to again enhance that gameplay immersion. We really want to make this a great experience for the player. The immersive background music is essentially to say that there'll be background music that'll be different for each stage and level you go through to match the setting and tone for the level. The audio feedback refers to the different play actions you have, so there'll be different sound effects for shooting, for taking damage, for obtaining a power up, for losing a power up, and then the adaptive audio will be in respect to game events. Say a boss is showing up, the audio will ramp up, you'll get an increase in bass, it'll be a lot more exciting for the player.
Thank you for watching our presentation.
Thank you very much.